Good morning, y'all. It is Saturday. I'm having a Wagyu beef stick, and I decided to take a walk and just have a little chat. I feel like I'm in a crazy pivot point in life where I kind of know what I'm doing, but I also have no idea what I'm doing. So every day is pretty much like constantly trying to figure out what is the correct path. Like, are the things that I'm doing the right thing? Are the things that I'm doing the right things for me to do? And I realize everybody has stages like this in life, but like, this is where I am, and I just feel like sharing because I feel like we don't talk about it enough. Like, everybody jokes about being unhappy because they know everybody else is unhappy too. Or let me not say everybody, a lot of people are also unhappy. So it's kind of like a running joke, being broke, having jobs you don't really like, being mistreated at work, just a general feeling of not being satisfied with your situation. And there's really nothing funny about it, but it's so normalized in this day and age, especially with social media. Like, everything's a joke, and it's really not a joke. Like, why are we so comfortable with living below our best selves? Like, we're living below what the best version of ourselves really are, because we don't know how to tap into our real potential. We don't know how to unlock the best versions of ourselves, our true selves, because we're taught to live in survival mode. We spend so much of our lives just trying to survive and make it to the next day, and nobody really emphasizes thriving in life. We should be thriving and not just surviving on a regular basis. Now, don't get me wrong, of course you have to do what you have to do to survive. But I just feel like, and I'm just speaking as like American society, I'm American, I don't know what happens in other countries, I don't know like what the culture is like. But I feel like in American culture, we glorify and encourage people to live unhappy and unhealthy lives, and we don't prioritize explaining to people the importance of prioritizing yourself, your well-being, figuring out the things that you enjoy in life, like how you can pretty much maximize your life. Like, we live in such a consumeristic society that I feel like it's more emphasized spending more than you make and not aiming to make more money. Like, oftentimes when people see others doing things that aren't conventional to try and make some extra income, it's looked down on. Like, for example, I'm just going to use content creation as an example because it seems like everybody wants to be a content creator, but in reality, everybody's not trying to be a content creator. There are a lot of people who are not creating content, and there are a lot of people who are creating content with no real aim. They don't have a strategy for how to be a full-time creator. But anyway, staying on track, like, there's people who sit around and criticize you for creating content and trying to make money in a way that doesn't involve contributing to society. Like, I don't know why there are so many people who feel like you have to be doing some type of manual labor job, or you have to have a career in engineering or something like that, or else what you're doing doesn't matter. Everybody's not an engineer. Everybody's not a scientist. Everyone is not a construction worker. There are a lot of people out here who are creatives. And I'm not saying that we don't have a need for these other job positions to be filled, but the fact is that those jobs are always going to be filled because everyone does not have what it takes to dedicate so much time to being a creator. So I don't really get why so many people get bent up about it. I think what it really is these people wish that they had the courage to step away from their careers and take on something that's more creative because they don't actually enjoy what they do. Because I personally can't see any other reason why you would be upset about how someone is living their life unless you're not happy with yours. So, and another example is like, people get upset about people creating fitness content in the gym. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel like there's a correct way to do it. Like, personally, I try not to get other people in my videos because that's just considerate. Like, people didn't consent to be in your video. But there's people who like ban filming in gyms. And it's like, why? Because you're not brave enough to record yourself? Because I can't understand why you would care otherwise. If you're not in someone's video, someone's not being obnoxious, why does it upset you? I don't know if you noticed, but there's no real theme to this video. I'm kind of just like talking and walking. And this is just things that I think about. Of course, because like I'm putting myself in this space. These are things that cross my mind. And I know people, I mean, I'm personally going to do whatever I want, regardless of what anybody says. I don't know. It's just things that cross my mind. I decided to come and sit by a lake. I look hella greasy. So pretty much, long story short, adulting sucks. And I just feel like we weren't properly prepared for all the BS that comes along with being an adult. Like, there's so many things that you have to figure out that were not emphasized as a child. Like, I feel like when I was a kid, of course, people always say like, you need to figure out what you want to be when you grow up, blah, blah, blah. But like, there's no emphasis on just how dire it is to have an idea of the things that you like. And that also, for me, that raises the point of, I don't feel like children are really taught the necessary life skills that they need to figure out what they really want in school. Like, we spend so much time learning like the basics, basic math, basic English, basic science, things like that. But there's not a lot of time allocated to figuring out what these individual children really like. Like, what do they gravitate more towards? Like, I feel like the education system dibble dabbles in a bunch of things just to give you the basics. And there's no real exploration of what individual people gravitate more towards. Like, I don't feel like we should spend as much time judging children based on test scores of subjects that they're really not even interested in. Now, like, I do believe that we need to all have the foundational knowledge and skills to survive on a day-to-day basis. But like, after a certain point, like, I took pre-calculus in high school. I don't understand why I needed to take a class like that. Like, it wasn't beneficial to me. Like, there are certain things you need, and there are other things thrown into the education system that are useless, when we should be spending more time figuring out what we actually enjoy. Now, of course, as you get older, you can change your mind. But like, as much as they emphasize going to college or getting a job after you graduate high school, you would think that they would spend more time trying to help kids figure out what they actually enjoy doing, instead of just saying, oh, well, you need to go to college and get a degree, or, oh, you need to go into the workforce. Because there's no real direction there. Like, you're putting too much pressure on minors to figure out what they want to do with their lives without offering a proper foundation for them to explore. Now, of course, you could argue and say that that's something the parents should do. But realistically, children's parents are working a lot of the time. So how much time is really left for them to sit and go in depth with their children to figure out what they like? Now, of course, they should be spending time with their children and helping them figure out different life skills. But children spend 8 hours in school 5 days a week. I just don't understand why there can't be like one class a week, like 1 hour a week, that is dedicated to helping kids figure out what they actually enjoy. But anyway, that's just a random rant. This is a random thought. So since we are on theme of a bunch of random topics today, I would like to talk about my fitness journey so far. So I started my fitness journey in about 2017, 2018, something like that. I got my first ever gym membership. I was Planet Fitness down, Planet Fitness gang, and I would go like 4 or 5 days a week, and I would only be in there like 30 minutes. I never knew what I was doing. I never had a plan. I'm pretty sure I did like all the exercises wrong. And I would eat like shit. Like, I would eat absolutely horribly after I worked out. But I was going though. I was going consistently, and I was building the foundation for what I have now. So what I want people to understand is that you don't need to have it perfect as soon as you start. Like, there are so many people who feel like if they're going to start their fitness journey, that they need to have it all the way down, or else it's just a dead mission. And that's just not true. Like, I started, like I said, I went maybe like 30 minutes a day for like 4 or 5 days a week. I did not do a good job at all. Like, looking back now on that situation, now that I have a different perspective, I have more knowledge, I really was not doing a good job. Like, my form was trash. I was not challenging myself at all. I was just doing anything. I didn't have like set days for set exercises. It was pretty much whatever I felt like. And most of the time I really just felt like doing lower body. So I would do lower body and I would leave. And I would lift super light weights. Like, I didn't pick up anything that I felt like was heavy. If it was heavy at all, if I had any type of struggle, I was putting it down and I was getting something light. But like I said, I was going. And my diet was absolute garbage. I was eating any and everything. I didn't have a thought or a care in the world about how to properly eat. Like, it never crossed my mind. But like I said, I was going. I was getting myself into the habit. Now, since I did not know what I was doing, eventually I did stop working out. I stopped going to the gym, and I think I stopped going for like a year or so. Let me see. I think I stopped going for until like the middle of 2019, because I remember having a gym membership at some point before COVID, and eventually I ended up buying a workout program. So I think what happened was I started doing home workouts around like late 2019, and then and I was also and then I bought a workout program, and I was doing that program for a little while. And then when gyms reopened and everything in 2020, I believe that's when I got my second gym membership, also at Planet Fitness. So I had a little more structure because I had a program I was following. I still was not following the meal plan, but I was doing better. I was learning how to do the exercises properly. I had a program I was following, so I wasn't just in there aimlessly, and I wasn't just doing like random things. Although I will say I was not doing the workout program exactly as it was written. I would see things in there and I was like, child, that's too hard. I'm not doing it. I was still lifting too light. I was not trying to do anything that hurt too much. I was like, girl, I would do it, but like, I'm not going to do all of it. So eventually, I think I fell off of that as well. This is 2020. And I think I started working out again in 2021. This time I was at a local gym. It was called Brick Bodies. I started the same program again because I already paid for it. I already had it still. So I'm like, if I'm going to start working out, I'm going to use this program I paid for and didn't properly use. So I started doing that for a while, and I started doing more of the exercises that were in the program, but I still wasn't doing it to completion because I'm stubborn, I'm hard-headed, and I'm like, girl, I don't want to do that. And if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. So that's where I was. I'm just like, I don't feel like doing that. It's too hard. But once again, even though I wasn't doing it to completion, I wasn't doing it with maximum effort, I was still doing it. So I was laying the foundation for myself for who I am now. Of course, at the time, I didn't know that because I had a completely different mindset. I wasn't even thinking about like 4 or 5 years down the line. I was just thinking like in the temporary, in the current moment, like I didn't feel like doing it, so I didn't do it. But regardless, I think around that time I was also like starting to figure out how to improve my diet. It still wasn't the best, but it was better than it had been before with my previous gym memberships. So let's see, after Brick Bodies, I stopped going to Brick Bodies as well. I fell off of Brick Bodies as well. So as y'all can see, there's a theme here. There's a theme of falling off and getting back on track. So I would implore you, next time you fall off, to realize that you can just get back started at any point in time. Just because you make a mistake or just because you stop doesn't mean that's the end of the world. Like, there are too many people out here who feel like if you don't get your fitness journey right the first time, then that's just it. Like, you're never going to lose the weight. You're never going to get in shape. And that's just not true. You can restart as many times as you need to. Like, it's literally your life. You are making this decisions. If you feel like you need to stop and get back started, then fine, do that. Do that as many times as you need to until you build up the discipline to just keep going and not stop. It's really a marathon. It's not a sprint. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of adjusting that comes with it. Like, working out consistently is not for the weak. It's not something easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would stick with it. You're literally putting yourself through pain constantly, over and over again. You're breaking your muscles down and building them back up. It's not easy. So if you fall off, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up over that. You can always get restarted. The only time you can't get restarted is when you're in the grave. So as long as you are above the grave, you still breathing, you still have air in your lungs, you are able to start over as many times as you need to. So I think my next gym membership, I honestly can't even remember what year it was. It was either 2022 or 2023. We're in 2025 now. It may have been 2023. But I'm not even sure. Like, I've had so many gym memberships at this point, I don't even know. So either 2022 or 2023, I joined a local gym. I think it's a local gym. I don't even know. I have beef with them, but that's another story. I joined a gym that's near where I live now, and I was going there. That's where I really built up my consistency. That's where I really learned. No, I'm not even gonna attribute them to my discipline, but I definitely started going there more consistently than I ever have any other gym. I had a personal trainer, and I think that's what really helped get me on track. Child, I had a personal trainer I could not afford. Well, regardless, I had a personal trainer for a little while, and it really set me on track. She gave me exercises to do, and I think that she gave me the structure that I needed, because I was all over the place. And I didn't want to fall off again because I was just tired of falling off. Even though I did end up falling off again. But we'll get there in a minute. So I hired a personal trainer, and she had me doing a program. And since I was paying for a trainer and I had this program that she gave me, I was going consistently because I wanted to keep up with I wanted to keep up with what I was paying for. Like, I'm paying a personal trainer. Of course, I'm going to go work out. Maybe that's what some people need. Some people need to hire a trainer, because when you see that money come out your account, that's going to get you to the gym. So, of course, since I'm paying for this trainer, I'm doing a program, I start to eat differently because, like I said, I'm paying for a trainer. Of course, I'm going to listen to her. I'm going to do what she told me to do. She told me to eat better, so I'm about to go eat better. But I ended up having some issues with that gym. I'm not even going to get into that. I might talk about that one day, but that's still like an ongoing thing. I don't even want to talk about that. I had some issues with that gym, so I ended up leaving because I feel like they were not treating me right as a member. Like, pretty much, they kept revoking my access to the gym. It's a private gym, so you need an access code to get in. And for whatever reason, they kept revoking my access. And whenever I would go to the front desk to ask, like, what is the issue? Why does my access keep getting revoked? They could never give me an answer. So I just decided to leave. But anyway, so that got me out of the gym for a little while. I think a couple of months, just a couple of months that time. It didn't take me a year to get back on track. It took me a couple of months. But when I got restarted again, I just started using my leasing office gym because I decided that I wanted to make sure that I was serious before I went and signed up for another gym membership. And I just wanted to save the money because I'm like, I have a perfectly good leasing office gym. It's not the best gym by any means, but it's good for beginners because they have a lot of really basic equipment. They have a few dumbbells. They have a couple of machines. They have cardio. So pretty much, like, if you're not super deep into your fitness journey, if you're not super athletic, whatever, if you're just getting started, it's a good beginner's gym. And I wasn't necessarily a beginner, but I I wasn't super disciplined. I didn't have like a rigorous program that I was doing or anything like that. I was really just doing the basics because I wanted to build up my discipline. I wanted to make sure that I was going to stay consistent. So I started using the leasing office. And with me using the leasing office, I ended up in there all the time because like I live here. It's just a short walk over to the leasing office to use the gym. So I actually don't even know like how many days a week I was going or anything like that. I was just going like whenever I felt like it. And I felt like going really often because like there's nothing stopping me from walking from my apartment to the leasing office. Like there's literally no real travel involved. The gym is right there. So I would start going a few days a week. Like I said, I don't know how many days I was going, but that is what really helped me build up my discipline, going to my leasing office gym. It was free and it was close by. I could literally walk there. So fast forward, I have been doing that for a couple of months, and my fiance wanted to join a gym. We ended up going to an LA Fitness that's not too far away from where we live now. And when I started going to LA Fitness, I started going like 2-3 days a week, something like that. 2-3 days a week. It was always different every week. It really just depended on how I was feeling, whether I would go 2 or 3 days. But one thing's for sure is I was going 2 or 3 days. Like there was not ever a week that I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna go work out. No, I would go either twice that week or I would go 3 times that week. And I think when I started going to LA Fitness, that's when I finally started doing my fitness program all the way through. And I don't know what made me do that at this particular gym, but I guess I just got more serious because this was like the 4th, 5th gym membership I had, and it was just something that I needed. I had like a big realization in my life, and I decided that I wanted to start taking my fitness more seriously. Pretty much, I felt like I didn't have any control over myself, my situation, and I needed something to grab onto, and I just happened to grab onto fitness. So I started going to LA Fitness 2-3 days a week. I gradually started increasing the number of days. So instead of me going 2-3 days, I started going 3 days. And then when I was going 3 days a week, I was doing Pilates at home. But then eventually I stopped doing Pilates. I love Pilates, but like, child, Pilates is not for the weak. It looks easy, but my goodness, Pilates is a crazy workout. Eventually I do want to get back into doing Pilates consistently. I would honestly prefer to do it at a studio. And I think that's why I stopped doing it, because like while you can do Pilates at home, I think I really want the studio environment, and that's why I'm not doing it right now. But anyway, so I went from doing 3 days in the gym and doing Pilates at home to going 4 days a week. When I started going 4 days a week, that's when I stopped doing Pilates. And then eventually I was going 4 days a week for a while, like consistently for a while. And then one day, and I kept telling myself like, eventually I'll get to 5 days. Eventually I'll get to 5 days. And then literally one day I just woke up one morning and it was a Friday, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to go to the gym. And that was my 5th day. And I've been going 5 days a week ever since. There was no real plan for me to start going 5 days a week. I literally just woke up one day and decided I'm going to start going 5 days now. And I've been doing it ever since. So that's pretty much on theme with my whole thing of just doing things that you say you want to do. If you want to do it, get started. It may not be perfect when you get started, but that doesn't matter. The point is that you got started doing it. You can perfect it later. Or maybe you'll never perfect it. We're human beings. There's nothing perfect about us, but we can get as close to perfection as we humanly can. And I feel like that's where I am now with my fitness journey, like going consistently, being dedicated. I don't even want to say motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Like some days I'm super motivated, other days I'm not. But regardless of if I'm feeling motivated or not, I'm still going to go. I'm still going to get it done. I don't care if I had a bad day. I don't care if I'm sad. It doesn't matter. If I'm crying my eyes out, I'm going to cry on the fucking elliptical. Like, I'm going to go to the gym. It doesn't matter what's going on. And another common theme I see people talking about with fitness is like the time to go work out. The time that you go work out depends on when you feel like going to work out. You don't have to get up early in the morning and go to the gym if that's not something you enjoy. If you're not an early riser, then don't try to force yourself to be an early riser to go work out. That's stupid. Do what works for you. If you are somebody who's more active, you're more energized in the evening, then go in the evening. If you have more energy midday, then go midday. Do whatever makes sense for you. Don't feel like you have to go to the gym at 5 a.m. because you see people on social media going at 5 a.m. They like going at 5 a.m. And if they don't like going at 5 a.m. and they're doing it just for like engagement, then that's stupid. They shouldn't be torturing themselves just for some likes and comments. That's dumb. So I am at a place right now where I like to wake up. I wake up at like 5:15. Eventually, I would like to make it to the gym by 5 a.m. because that's something I enjoy. I like waking up early and going early when there's hardly anybody there and knocking it out and then having plenty of time left in my day to do whatever else I want. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel productive for everything else that I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to change my entire life. And I feel like I get more done when I wake up early and just go work out. But I didn't start off like this. Like, I would go in the afternoon. I've never gone to the gym at night, but like I would go like later in the afternoon. I would go like mid-morning. I think the latest I've ever gone to the gym has been like 3 p.m. But like I said, it's all subjective. It all depends on what you enjoy. When do you want to go? What feels right for you? I don't feel right going to the gym in the afternoon anymore. Like, that's just not who I am. Just like I'm not somebody who sleeps in. I'm not in the chapter of life that I'm in right now. I'm not about to sleep in. I don't care what day it is. I don't care what I have going on. I'm not sleeping in. I'm going to get up early and I'm going to do things. But that's me. You shouldn't live your life based off of how anybody else is living their life. Do what works for you. If you don't know what works for you, take the time to figure out what works for you. Because once again, it's your life. Nobody else can live it for you. So while you're trying to keep up with everybody else, you're really cheating yourself, because you should be getting to know yourself better and figuring out how you work optimally. What are some things that you need to do to live your best life, to get maximum results from whatever effort you're putting in? I don't want you to ever feel like you are wrong in your fitness journey, because I don't believe there's a right or wrong way to do anything. It's all how you feel and what works best for you. I know it's really easy to be influenced by the different things you see on social media, and there's so much information floating around. There's so many people telling you what's right and what's wrong, but the truth is nobody knows anything. Nobody has all the answers. I don't care how long you've been working out. I don't care how long you've been a fitness professional. You saying to somebody that they have to work out a certain way is incorrect. You need to do what works for you. Now, I'm not talking about like form or anything like that. I'm speaking specifically on when you get to the gym, how often you go. It's all depends on you, and don't let anybody convince you otherwise. There's no right or wrong amount of times for you to fall off and get back on. You can do it as many times as you need to. It's your life. It's your body. You have to do what feels right for you. Like I just told y'all, I fell off my fitness journey a good 4 or 5 times before I got to the place I'm at now, where I'm super consistent. There's nothing wrong with that. Stop letting people convince you that the way you're living is wrong just because it's not the way they're living. There's no correct way to take part in a fitness journey. Just like if you don't like certain exercises, I wouldn't necessarily say you're wrong for not doing them. You may be cheating yourself of the results you want, but it's your body. If you don't want to do these exercises, then find an alternative that works the same muscle groups. It's really not even that serious. I think the most important thing is that you prioritize taking care of your body in some way, shape, or form. If you decide that you just want to do cardio, I would encourage you to add weightlifting somewhere into the scenario. But if that's how you want to get started, then start doing cardio. If you're somebody who only wants to lift weights, you don't want to do any cardio, I would encourage you to incorporate cardio as well. But if you want to get started just lifting weights, then do that. What's important is that you're starting, and you can learn the different benefits of lifting weights and cardio as you go along if you're somebody who doesn't like to do those things, because they both have their benefits. They both have their place in any fitness program, and everybody should be doing both. But like I said, the important thing is that you get started and you realize that you need to be taking care of your body so your body can take care of you. If you aren't properly maintaining your body, then you're not going to be at optimal health. And that's just a fact. Like, that's not a matter of opinion. Just like you can't just eat garbage all the time and expect for your body to be properly fueled. Your body is going to start to break down if you're not giving it proper nutrients. If all you eat is fast food, you can't expect to have good health. Now, there is a balance, I believe. It's okay for you to have fast food every once in a blue moon if you're prioritizing eating healthy for the majority of the time. And then every once in a while, you throw in some junk food. That is fine. I wouldn't say you have to cut out your junk completely, but the majority of what you're taking in should be providing your body with adequate nutrients. You shouldn't be eating more bad food than good. So long story short, if you don't currently have any type of fitness that you are partaking in, I would really encourage you to get started on doing something as simple as taking a walk around your block today. Like, if you need to start like walking around your block once a week to get yourself into the habit of being active, then do it. It doesn't have to be some rigorous, intense fitness routine. Just do something to get yourself in the habit of working out, and then you can grow from there. But everybody needs to be doing something to take care of their body. And don't think that you are different for some reason, because you're not. You're human, and you need to be taking care of your body just like everybody else. If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking by with my rant, because there was no real topic in mind. I was pretty much just outside vibing and decided to record some content. So I appreciate you for sticking around. If you're still here, connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, Christy Nicole Wellness. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.